In equal parts despised and adored by the wealthy of the empire, a traveling entertainer can make a pretty penny off their blinding charisma and nimble fingers. +1 diplomacy, and +1 thievery. Prologue. On the wine-dark, raging seas of the Outer Isles, a lone caravel struggles against the winds and waves towards the accursed island of Idra. The moan of creaking timbers, the tang of preserved fish, your eyes slowly adjust to the darkness of the ship's dimly lit hold. Suddenly, something strikes against the hull, and the ship rocks violently. Your heart begins to pound, and a feeling of unease grows in your stomach. Let's rouse ourselves from deep meditation. You get to your feet and become aware of agitated voices shouting up on the deck. Something is not right. You should make your way up top and get a bearing on the situation. Desk with the maritime navigation map. The map is labeled the Outer Isles, and a course is drawn towards an island named Idra. Something just struck the ship. To your surprise, you realize that this door has been locked from the outside. It doesn't budge. Perhaps you could slip the lock with a thin blade, or use something to smash it. Let's use our dagger. You slip the dagger through a gap in the door and lift the bar that was locking you in. The door begins to creak open. As the door swings open, you can now clearly make out the cries from the deck above. You should make haste. I've spotted something. You stop dead as you narrowly avoid stepping in a rust-red puddle. The stench of blood fills your nostrils, and as you look around in the dim light of the hold, you realize someone or something fought for their life here. The same moment the thought hits you, a hiss sounds from the shadows. You squint towards the shadows as a hunched, feral-looking form slowly slinks forwards. Tiny, disgustingly human-like hands, yellow fangs, and a grotesquely dexterous pink tail leaves no doubt of the creature's rodent nature. Though as it emerges from the shadows, it becomes abundantly clear that what may have started life as a common shiprat has now grown into something that has no right to exist. A second hiss sound behind you, and the abominations lunge at you. Let's fall back a little bit. As the rats are going to come first, but we want to narrow them down in the corridor, I think. Gained 90 experience and 2 rat tails. We are, I think, poisoned. Or weakly diseased. You've contracted a disease from your fight with the rats. You may see what conditions are affecting you by opening the character sheet. You emerge onto the ship's lower deck. As your eyes adjust to the darkness, you become aware of a hulking figure standing in the shadows. Artexian, here at last, growls a rough voice. Who's there? Show yourself. It's Roland. Where the tides have you been? Below deck, planning our landing. Why? The island is in sight, but the damn guilders refuse to land. They want to turn back. If we turn back, we lose our shot at the girl. And no one gets paid. Listen here. I know our boys better than most. We've hired them to go to Indra and kill. If we don't pay them, things will go bad quickly. But the sailors are bloody terrified. They claim something is hunting us. Let's go, for all the good it will do. Wait, there are a few soldiers up ahead, rattled as a pair of rabbits. We're not here to make friends, if that's what you're suggesting. Spill sailor blood and the guild will want to make you pay. Take the left door ahead and spare us some trouble and a pay cut. Perhaps. Anything else you feel compelled to tell me? Let's just get off this bloody boat. Monitoring for you to take the lead, Roland falls in behind you. From above, agitated shouts can be heard. He's using a two-hander. We'll just give him an increase in accuracy here. Wonder if, so for instance, like, since it's a two-handed sword, does sword and two-hand stack with each other? Alright. A note is scrawled in crude letters. Book, I can't stand another meal of salted fish. There is a limit to how long a man can live on salt potatoes and Brooklyn. Take head or get a dagger in the eye, you cheap bastard. The sailors stare at you wide-eyed and terrified. Dead emperors, it's coming for us. It whispers to me. One of them draws a weapon with shaking hands. Diplomacy versus 10. Calm yourself, you're guild sailors. Oh, it was... Oh, okay, yeah. We have better diplomacy on our tech scene, so you can click. Success. Diplomacy 7 plus 2d6 6 equals 13, which beats 10. The men stop dead in their tracks, seemingly shocked back from their momentary lapse of sanity by your words. The pair blinks towards you in a moment of indecision and then stumbles up to the main deck and the tumult that seems to be taking place there. Did not mean to go up. You emerge onto the deck and see two groups of men facing each other with weapons drawn. The ship shakes violently in the grip of a storm as lightning tears across the sky. Amidst the din of the storm and their frantic arguments, you bellow for the attention of the assembled crewmen and mercenaries. Both the ship's captain and the leader of the mercenaries you hired, a coarse thug of a man named Gustavo, turn their attention to you. They look ready to use the unsheathed weapons in their hands at the slightest provocation. Let's go with the mercenary leader. The mercenary leader, Gustavo, flicks his dark eyes to you, but keeps his blade fixed on the desperate captain. There's a reason he's known as Fireblood to his men. Gustavo, enough of the theatrics. Theatrics, you say? It is not my men who cower like children. For what? Shadows in the water? Shadows will not keep me from my pay. You'll get your money, but let me handle this. A cruel smile twitches into life on Gustavo's wind-weathered face. There's only one rich noble girl, but we can always find more sailors. The ship's captain bristles at these words. Captain, why have we not dropped anchor? Something dire stalks these shores. We cannot approach without risking the ire of that horror. A jittery mutter of agreement rises from the sailors, causing Gustavo's eyes to darken even further. What horror? What have you seen? Naught but glimpses. My men have seen the shadow of something deep in the water, stalking us. Nothing natural moves like that. Gustavo glares murderously at the captain. You renege on our deal based on a glimpse. There is desperation in the captain's voice. We are seasoned sailors. We do not balk at shadows. You need to be alive to rescue this girl you speak of. We're out of time. Sail us in or argue the point with Gustavo. Gustavo turns his steely gaze from you to the captain. Let me spell this out for you, sea dog. We're contracted to rescue the girl, but if you don't get us to the shore, we'll get you for free. The mercenaries you hired all shift their weight in anticipation of making good on that promise. Captain, he's right. Do what you were hired to do. Something changes in the captain's expression. He stands tall. I will not order my ship and my men to certain doom. We shall not get any closer to the coast while I have command. Diplomacy versus 10. I believe you, but my contract with these men does not mention your survival. Success. 7 plus D 26 11 equals 18. A few of the ship's crew lower their weapons. The captain's eyes flit between you and Gustavo's murderous grin. He sheaths his blade and speaks softly, his voice barely audible over the snapping sails. So be it. May the deep have mercy. Suddenly, huge, monstrous tentacles burst from the water around the ship. For a split second before the terror sets in, you wonder what Gustavo must be thinking as the monstrosities loom over him. After reaching their full height, the tentacles curve inward and smash into the ship. Some pierce straight through the deck, others snap the masts like they were matchsticks. You stand frozen in place. Through a haze of splintered wood and panicked screams, you notice Roland. He throws himself out of the way of a tentacle, but begins to fall overboard as the ship lurches once more. Let's go to Roland's aid. You dash towards the ship's fractured rail, dodging holes in the deck and wounded men beseeching for your help. Roland hangs by one arm from the side of the ship. Try to grab him. You lunge for Roland's arm, but he loses his grip and your fingers close only around thin air. You missed him by an inch. He falls wordlessly downwards. You watch as he is swallowed by the raging sea. The ship is listing fatally, and you see the great tentacle high above you poised for the coup de grace. Abandon ship! As you jump, you hear the terrible rending of wood giving into flesh. The impact of the water winds you. The waves pummel you down. The currents beseech you to go deeper, ever deeper, into peaceful blackness. Two weeks earlier. Journal updated, man overboard. A guardsman dressed in the livery of the noble house baron. Guard scowls somewhat at you. Armsmaster Lyra awaits you at the main entrance. You best talk to her if you're not already done so. First, before we do that, let's check everywhere else. Alright, it looks like we lost our gear. Alright, so there's nothing there. Come here, whelp. An aging armored man in the livery of House Baron stands and scowls at you. Eyes like coal peer out from a craggy face, fringed top and bottom with wild, white hair. Return his challenging stare. The older man crosses his massive arms, steps forward and leans towards you. So, young sellsword, come and look for a scrap, have you? Though his voice is full of gravel, there's now a glint in his eyes as though the old coals have begun to warm up. Gideon, you old fool. A single bark of laughter emanates from the dense beard as he embraces you in a crushing bear hug. Gideon may be older and grayer, but from the force of his hug, you don't reckon you'd have any more chance of beating him now than you did as you were a 12-year-old boy. It's good to see some things haven't changed. Gideon steps back and allows you to breathe again before grabbing you by the shoulders. We've heard of your father's passing. Truly, he sits with the golden dead now. Tell me, how did he die? In glorious battle at my side. Gideon's eyes narrow, and the old warrior died a fitting death. Gideon is quiet for a moment, then breaks into a grin. We'll raise up a cup to his name together, you and I. Soon as you're done with Kato, and I can rustle up some ale fit for a guest. Gideon, why am I here? Master Kato will chew your ear plenty when you see him, Artexian. Lyra, the new master-at-arms, awaits you by the main entrance. She'll escort you, and don't ask her not to, if you think I had a temper. The joke fails to hide the note of anxiety in the grizzled house guard's voice. What are you hiding from me, old boar? Diplomacy of 7. 14 does not beat 15. I won't betray my master's confidence by saying more. Best you see him yourself. The man offers a smile, but it fails to iron out the concerned creases around his eyes. Very well, I'll go look for the master-at-arms. If you want to explore for old time's sake, take this lantern. Lord Baron will wait, and we don't want you getting lost in the hedge maze again. The man laughs heartily and hands you a small brass lantern. Whatever may come to pass, it did this old warrior a barrel of good to see you again, boy. The old man slaps you on the shoulder in parting, almost knocking you off balance. He then seems to remember something as he leans in conspiratorially. Damn knees are acting up again. Can't hardly sleep on the account of the aches. Let me tell you, I'd take an arrow in the leg any day. If you're going over to the kitchen later for a bit of grub, a bottle of brandy from the wine cellar would make me a happy man. Gideon shifts as to emphasize his stiff knees. But first, don't keep Lyra waiting any longer. Talk to her first and I'll be here for later. pet the dog. Master Kato isn't seeing anyone. A guardsman dressed in the livery of the noble house baron. The guard scowls somewhat at you. Arms Master Lyra awaits you at the main entrance. You best talk to her if you're not already done so. Same dialogue on all the guards, at least they're on the same page. Guess we have to go north. A woman stands before the main entrance to the villa. Her posture speaks of a graceful, coiled power, that of a dueling ace. No doubt she is the new master-at-arms for House Baron. As you approach, she offers a quick, neat bow, just low enough to be respectful. Greetings, Artexian. Master Kato welcomes you back to the House Baron. The Master is eager to meet with you and is ready for your leisure. However, if you wish to refresh yourself first, he suggests you visit the kitchen for some food and then perhaps walk the grounds and gardens. Very well, I shall explore a bit. Excellent. Though I'm sure you still know your way around the grounds, the kitchen is in the building to the east and the garden and hedge maze is to the west. Come back and check in with me once you've stretched your legs. You'll find the kitchen in the eastern end of the courtyard. The garden and hedge maze is to the west, and I needn't remind you that it's a poor idea to enter the maze without a lantern. Have a good evening, my lord. You enter the kitchen and a pair of scullions offer a hurried bow. It's all so much quieter, emptier, and gloomier than you remember. Of course, old Magna is no longer where she used to be, sitting by the oven, kind, red-faced, and tending a shank of lamb. Let's reminisce. You remember the matronly woman as she sat humming to herself, pouring fat over the roasted meat. Child, come here, will you? Magda was always a beacon of kindness in a childhood where such qualities were few and far between. Go to Magda. Magda clasps you gently with her tubby hands. Have you eaten yet? Before you can answer, she produces a small bundle of treats from her apron and hands it to you. As son to the Master-at-Arms for the great House Baron, you did not go wanting. Materially at least. Thank you. Magda looks at you with kind eyes as you pick up the bundle. He's here again, down in the cellar. He's not so good, my child. Sleeping now, but it would be best if you got him to bed before his men see him like this, again. The knot in your stomach is real now as it was when you were 12. I'll go get him. Don't worry. He won't make a fuss. He just needs time. You know Artexian deep wounds take a long while to heal. The old woman turns back to her meat and resumed her meandering humming. The sound of a man clearing his throat snaps you back from your reminiscing. "May I help you, my lord?" The man in the chef's outfit offers a hoarse voice. The chef offers a short bow and a tired but sincere smile. "I am Chef Armand, and my humble kitchen is at your disposal, my lord. Sadly, I was told of your arrival only minutes ago, and my oven must be fired up again. You must be famished." "Indeed I am." The suggestion is thusly: whilst I stoke the fire, you run down in the pantry and fetch some cured ham and cheddar cheese. Then I will teach you how to cook the renowned melted cheese sandwich, as you shall never want for an evening meal as long as you live." "Very well." "Splendid. The pantry is west of the wine cellar, and the cheese is kept in the northernmost room. Return when you have cured ham and cheddar, and I shall provide bread and instructions. Now venture forth into the underworld." "Gideon has asked me to fetch him a bottle of brandy." "Ah, that old wretch is too cowardly to come himself, so he sends you instead. The brandy will be the end of him, I say. Then again, who am I to deny the old fool his few pleasures? You'll find a crate of fine Gormian brandy in the northeast corner of the wine cellar." Chef Armand wanders back and forth, tending the fire and keeping his kitchen tidy. He has the gait of a man who has been on his feet for far too many hours. "Where is the cellar again?" "Use the hatch in the floor over there." Armand points towards a wooden hatch by the wall. "It's quite dark down there, but there should be a lantern in the chest near the stairs. Good luck." Empty bottles litter the floor of this room. You chuckle to yourself as you imagine the kitchen staff and their wine tasting sessions. No doubt, much revelry has taken place here. Then a cool gust of air from the passage to the north. The wine cellar lies that way, and you can almost hear faint sobbing. Ghosts, no doubt. You're gripped by a long hidden memory upon entering this part of the cellar. You sealed it away, but in doing so, preserved its strength, and now it demands freedom. You can still recall smelling him before you could make out his writhing shape in the dim light of the cellar. "Mistress Valeria, open the door." Your father doesn't even notice you in the throes of his intoxicated ramblings. How could they take her? Her chambers were locked from inside. Where is she? Try to shake some sense into him. Your father jolts upright, the bloodshot whites of his eyes glaring out of the darkness. "We found her, wandering the forest outside the estate. Mistress Valeria." Help him stand. Haltingly and leaning heavily on you, your father manages to stand. She was never the same. Whatever happened broke her. It was the girl, you know. The seed was planted in Valeria that night. But how could you know? You were but a babe yourself. You help lead the now sobbing man out of the cellar. "Stop it, father." "Lord Cato trusted me and I failed him. But Valeria was the one to pay the price. Mind broken and that spawn of a child." Your father's voice seethes with fury. "Enough. Don't talk back to me, you bastard. What do you know about honor? As much as your harlot mother." Your father steps away from you, unsteadily, tears streaming down his contorted face. Strike the man. You draw a ragged breath and snap out of the memory, your knuckles white. You're alone in the damp cellar and don't particularly feel like dwelling there. Chef Armand wanders back and forth, tending the fire and keeping his kitchen tidy. I have the ham and cheese. Perfect. First of all, here's some bread. Now the cauldron is quite empty and just warm enough for you to use. Remember, you need both the bread, ham, and cheese to make the perfect sandwich. Now, go give it a try and bring me the result. I shall see if you have it in you. Chef Armand wanders back and forth. Present the sandwich for inspection. Armand wafts the scent of the grilled sandwich towards his nose. Ah, the crust of the bread, the softness of the cheese, the savoriness of the ham. Perfection. You shall indeed never again go hungry in the night. Charmed, I'm sure. You stand before the gate of the hedge maze. It stirs old feelings of both dread and elation. The sounds and smells of the estate grounds, as they were long ago, call to you from the distant memory. You feel you could easily plunge into their depths. Let yourself go and remember. Which daydream is it this time? Are you valiantly defending me from rebels again? Imbla throws a pine cone at you, snapping you from your reverie. She's 10 years old, and you're a year her senior. Let's play hide and go seek somewhere in the maze. I'll hide. You faintly hear someone yelling your name from the distance. You better run, Star Child. Only my mother ever calls me that, Imbla says, frowning. Where did you hear it from? Before you can reply, she flings another pine cone at you and darts off into the maze. Give chase. You hear a man's voice yell Imbla's name again, much closer now. Either way, she's lost to you in the winding passages of the hedge maze. Your memory tugs at you, urging you to the center of the maze. I say. Wonder if there's any secrets in the maze. You stand at the center of the maze. It feels much less impressive than you remember. The ornamental pond was once an ocean, a rock at its heart, a wind-swept island. You found me, daydreamer. You remember the tone of her voice. You can almost see the impish 10-year-old girl wading through the pond. Why do you always come here? I like the water. It's so calm. Imbla shoots you a mischievous look. You notice the faintest tang of ozone. He makes a slow motion hop through the water, her fingers trailing the pond surface. Where the water and skin meet, strange colors bleed and spread across the surface. Imbla, you'll get in trouble. Stop it. Imbla moves her fingers across the water's surface like a painter's brush. Colors spill across the pond, and for a sleeping moment you fancy that you can see some cloud-topped mountains. Or was it the ramparts of an impossibly large city reaching towards the heavens? The silence is shattered by a shout, along with the beguiling images. Mistress Imbla, the master requests you in the house immediately. That's my father. Something's wrong. It's mother. She's ill again. I think I cause it with what I can do. It poisons her mind. How long until mother isn't mother? Or until father isn't lord? Or your father isn't master at arms? How long will any of it last? Why are you talking like this? Do you ever feel like everything is a lie? Like there's a veil that covers everything, but in some parts it's thin enough to see through? Imbla starts as your father steps breathingly into the enclosed garden. He's red-faced from exertion and anger. Young lady, you can't run off like this. The whole estate is looking for you. Your mother is ill and needs you. Now. Say nothing. Your father shoots you a stern glance. I'll deal with you later. Imbla says nothing as your father grabs her by the arm and hauls her past you. Back to the house, she doesn't meet your eyes as you pass. Finding yourself back in the present, a chill has crept into your bones. You best move on. I'm quite lost. Have you seen Lyra yet? Best not keep her waiting. I have your medicine. Ha, that's some foraging, young whelp. That's some fine foraging, you young whelp. Before you can get in a word, Gideon snatches the bottle and corks it and drinks it deeply. The old man, eyes closed in relief, lets out a deep sigh. May your sleep be dreamless, he speaks as if to himself. May your sleep be dreamless? Gideon smiles sadly, an old soldier's greeting, something one mercenary would say to another as a prayer to not dwell on painful memories, the kind that comes with work. Your father and I. Gideon halts momentarily and looks at you. Your father and I would always part with those words. Now I have held you long enough. Be on your way. There you are. If your nostalgia is appeased, the master will see you now. Yes, let's go see Kato. Very well, if it pleases you, the master is in his office just ahead. And note, once you meet with the master, things may move quickly, and you may not have another chance to walk the grounds. Yes, I remember the way. I suppose you do, but I'll escort you nonetheless. A flicker of a smile plays across her face, and she beckons for you to lead the way. Alright, let's take a break here. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back next time. Take care.